Say it. Transfer follows value. If you don't produce fruit, there's nothing to transfer to you. Say it again until your mind stops arguing with your future. Transfer follows value. Not hashtags, not headlines, not hype, value. Break that down. I am hearing the noise about a 2026 wealth transfer. It's trending like a festival, but it reads like a headline with no handbook. People are prophesying checks without processes, increase without infrastructure, and they are preparing to be disappointed because hype without laws always produces heartbreak. Don't mislabel miracles as methods. In the kingdom, God doesn't suspend his laws to accommodate our laziness. He honors his laws to reward our stewardship. Proverbs 10:4 says, the hand of the diligent makes rich. Not the hand of the wishful, the hand of the diligent. Let me establish the axiom that governs money. Money is not emotional. Money does not feel sorry for you. Money is attracted not to noise, but to solutions. It runs toward value the way rivers run toward the sea. Every problem is a business. Say it. If there is a problem, there is a product. If there is a frustration, there is a service. Sister Maria in your neighborhood complained that her back hurts when she lifts her groceries. The young man who designed a simple cart with folding legs and sold it at the market created value, and money located him. Money is a homing device for fruit. Write this down. The world doesn't eat seeds. The world eats fruit. You telling me you have an idea is not fruit. That's a seed. You praying over a seed is not fruit. That's cultivation. Genesis 1:28. Here it is law, not liturgy. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. Fruitful first. God didn't say receive dominion. He said be fruitful, and then the sequence begins. If you skip fruit, you cancel transfer. If you hoard seed and never present fruit, the market has nothing to bite. And don't mishear me. This is not anti-faith. This is pro-principle. Faith does not exempt you from law. It energizes your obedience to it. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, it is he who gives you power to get wealth, not the lottery to get wealth. Power is capacity, skill, competence, convertible power that becomes product. These kingdom laws are no respecter of persons. They work for the believer and the skeptic because God wrote them into creation. That's why you see secular brands prosper. They are unknowingly obeying Genesis. But I refuse to let the children of the king live as beggars in a house of bread. So stop prophesying transfers to empty hands. Fill your hands with fruit. Prepare your baskets, not for fantasies, but for value you have produced. When 2026 arrives, may it find you not in a line waiting for checks, but in a line shipping orders. Say it one more time. Money moves toward fruit. Now let's learn how to grow it. Listen carefully and write this down. The kingdom doesn't reward need, it rewards stewardship. Need attracts pity, stewardship attracts provision. We have been trained to pray God will do it, and God answers back, what will you manage if I do it? That's scripture, not opinion. In 2 Kings 4, the widow cried, my husband is dead and the creditor is coming. That is need. The prophet asked, what do you have in your house? That is inventory. Management begins with an audit. Say it out loud. I will not cry without counting. God multiplies what you manage, not what you ignore. Jesus told a story in Matthew 25 of a Lord who delivered talents, each according to his ability, then returned to settle accounts. The man with 5 produced 5 more. The one with 2 produced 2 more. The one who buried his 1 received a rebuke, not a bailout. Hear the verdict of heaven on stewardship. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many. Promotion is the child of faithfulness. Then the line that should rewrite your budget. To everyone who has, more will be given, but from the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken. Matthew 25:29. That is transfer resources moving from mismanagement to proven governors. Not because God is cruel, but because the kingdom secures value under competent hands. Stop financing your own famine. We are praying for increase while funding consumption. You tithe faithfully and then tithe again to the mall. You fast social media but feast on symbols, cars, clothes, gadgets that announce a future you never systemize. Write this down. You can't cast out a credit payment. You must budget it out. Jesus would not let his disciples romanticize a miracle without management. After feeding the 5,000, he said, gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. John 6:12. Organization before distribution, accounting after abundance. The king is obsessed with management. Tell your neighbor no. Tell yourself, stop chasing symbols, build systems. Systems are what money trusts. An invoice is a system. A fulfillment workflow is a system. A recipe that yields the same cookie every time is a system. If you don't deploy yourself, you'll be employed by someone who did. Increase doesn't respond to shouting, it responds to structure. Identity shift now. You are not a begging unit, you are a production center. Say it, I am necessary. You are God's response to a problem he allowed on earth. Every problem is a business and your gift is the raw material. But heaven will not sponsor waste. Whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. Luke 16:10. Prove trustworthy in the small, your morning, your skill practice, your customer follow-up, and the much will pursue you. So we need a blueprint. If stewardship is the condition, what is the method? Genesis is not a children's storybook. It is an economic constitution. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion is the operating system of markets. In a moment, I will show you how this sequence turns seed into dominion. But settle this first. God does not reward need. He rewards management. When you manage, increase is inevitable. Open the Constitution and hear the cadence of your calling. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. Genesis 1:28. Say it with me, not as poetry, but as policy. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. That is not a memory verse, that is a market sequence. Write this down. Dominion is a sequence. If you skip fruit, you cancel transfer. Let me translate this into boardroom language so you never get lost again. Be fruitful means produce something. Law of production. Multiply means make it reproduce without you dying, doing it law of scaling. Replenish means put it everywhere it needs to be so demand can find you, law of distribution. Subdue means set the standard and tame the chaos of your category, law of market control. Have dominion means govern value with wisdom, ethics, and consistency, law of leadership at scale. That's 5 laws of marketplace leadership. This is why some brands seem inevitable. They are not louder, they are lawful. Companies don't dominate because they shout. They dominate because they systematize this sequence. Microsoft didn't scream you into Word. They built fruit that worked, multiplied it through licensing, replenished it through pre-installs and channels, subdued the category by making doc the standard and then governed the ecosystem. McDonald's didn't pray fries into nations. They codified a fry. A system is multiplication. A franchise is replenishment. Standard operating procedures are subduing. Brand governance is dominion. Write that down. Shouting is not a strategy. Systems are. Now hear me clearly. Dominion is not arrogance, not exploitation, not spiritual slogans wrapped around sloppy products. Dominion is mastery plus responsibility. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. If your version of dominion mistreats people, pollutes the garden, or deceives the customer, that's not kingdom, that's piracy. Adam was placed to work it and take care of it, Genesis 2:15. Governance includes care. True dominion is stewardship at scale, integrity multiplied. I want you to see the progression. So you stop asking God to teleport you. God will not promote what you refuse to prototype. Fruit gives heaven something to bless. Multiply gives investors and partners confidence you won't break at 100 orders. Replenish wins trust because you show up on time in many places the same way. Subdue anchors your name to a standard so when the market thinks this, it thinks you. Dominion is when resources prefer your management because you've proven safest for value. Say it out loud. Dominion is a sequence. Again, if I skip fruit, I cancel transfer. Some of you are trying to multiply a rumor. You're attempting distribution of an idea, not a product. That's why frustration visits you like a monthly bill. Before we talk systems and channels, we must settle the first law. What exactly is fruit? Not talent, not intention, not a prayer burden. Fruit is a consumable result. Let's correct the confusion. Because when fruit is clear, multiplication becomes inevitable. Let me make the line bold in your mind so you never confuse potential with product again. Seed is what God hid in you, ideas, tendencies, that thing that keeps waking you up at 3 a.m., the sketches in your notebook, the melody in your head, the recipe in your grandmother's hands. Seed is private, invisible to the market, pregnant with possibility, but unprocessed, unpriced, and unproven. Fruit is different. Fruit is public. Fruit is a deliverable, something a customer can bite, a client can experience, a community can trust. Fruit is a service with a scope, a product with a shelf life, a result with a guarantee, a transformation with a testimony. Write that down. Your seed is potential, but only fruit is transferable value. Jesus said, by this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. John 15:8. Not much talk, not much hype, much fruit. You will know a tree by its fruit, not by its feelings. Matthew 7:16. Say it so it marks your mind. The world doesn't eat seeds, produce something. Again, louder this time. The world doesn't eat seeds, produce something. One more for the stubborn part of your soul. The world doesn't eat seeds, produce something. Here is where religion becomes a refuge for procrastination. I'm gifted, you say. That's a seed statement. I'm anointed, you testify. That is capacity, not distribution. A man's gift makes room for him. Proverbs 18:16. But the room is not the paycheck. The room is the opportunity to present fruit. The invoice is not your gift. The invoice is your fruit. Are you hearing me? The anointing is divine ability. But Acts 10:38 says God anointed Jesus who went about doing good, delivering, producing outcomes. Anointed action creates fruit others can receive. Let me give you pictures so you stop lying to yourself. You can sing that seed. A 4 5-minute vocal coaching package with a 3-song improvement guarantee, a booking link, a price, and 5 testimonies. That's fruit. You can cook that seed. A frozen ready, labeled, allergen listed, consistent spice profile meal with a subscription plan. That's fruit. You can fix computers. That's seed. A 2-4-hour turnaround repair with a diagnostic checklist, pickup route, and warranty. That's fruit. Seed whispers potential. Fruit announces value. Genesis 1:11 says every seed has seed in itself, which means the potential to become a tree that bears more fruit is already there. But if you keep boasting about your seed while hiding from the process design, standardization, packaging, pricing, proof, you deny the law that produces transfer. You can't deposit a seed into a bank account. Banks and buyers require fruit. So here is the sanity question that turns the 2026 conversation from noise into navigation. What fruit do you have that can carry a transfer? Not what gift do you admire, not what prophecy did you post, not what passion do you feel, what fruit can be ordered, consumed, reviewed, repeated, and referred. Say it again. The world doesn't eat seeds, produce something. When we convert your seed to fruit, the sequence we taught becomes inevitable. Resources recognize results and come running. Now let's work the first law like a craftsman works his tools. Be fruitful, not be famous. Be fruitful, not be busy. Be fruitful. In Hebrew, be fruitful means be productive, bring forth, cause results to appear. Write this down. Fruitfulness is a repeatable result with proof. How do you do it? Identify a problem you can solve consistently, on demand, under pressure, and convert your skill into a predictable outcome that people can experience without needing to believe in you. By their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:16. Fruit removes the argument. Say it. Produce a result people can pay for. I'm giving you the value ladder so you stop guessing and start governing your craft. Step 1 is clarity of outcome. State the transformation in one clean sentence. In 10 days, I help new presenters deliver a confident talk without freezing. Clarity attracts. Step 2 is reliability. Build a method so the same inputs create the same outputs. That's your checklist, your recipe, your diagnostic grid. Reliability earns trust. Step 3 is speed. Reduce the time from start to result without killing quality. Speed respects the customer's life. Step 4 is distinctiveness. What's your whopper? What sets your fruit apart in flavor, in feel, in philosophy? Distinctiveness creates memory. Write that down. Clarity, reliability, speed, distinctiveness. Value is measurable, not mystical. Stop changing your major every year. This is dumb. Master one thing. God cannot anoint confusion. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He shall stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Diligence is repetition with refinement. Build a promise you can keep. Attach a guarantee you can honor, and gather testimonies that prove it wasn't luck. James says, faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Faith builds prototypes, not excuses. Your first fruit is not a dream board. It's a deliverable with a before and after we can verify. Here's your exercise, simple and surgical. Write down 3 problems people keep asking you to fix. Don't invent, observe your request. Circle the one you can solve repeatedly without drama. Now translate it into fruit. Define the scope, what's included, what's not, the process. 3 steps we follow every time. The timeline, start to finish. The price, don't apologize. And the proof, 3 case studies, 5 reviews, 1 guarantee. Then schedule 5 reps in the next 30 days. Charge full price for 3. Discount 2 for speed and testimonials. Every problem is a business. Every testimony is currency. Say it. I convert problems into predictable results. And hear the discipline of this law. Fruit is not a one-off miracle. Fruit is a pattern. When I can close my eyes and still trust your outcome, you are fruitful. When I can send my sister to you and sleep at night, you are fruitful. When your name equals a result, transfer begins to knock. But don't stop here. Fruit alone is not dominion. If your result requires your constant presence, you're still in the garden with a handful of grapes. In a moment, we will move to law 2, multiply, so your fruit reproduces through systems and scale without killing you. Law 2, multiply. God did not say work harder. He said multiply. Genesis 1:28. Write that down. Multiplication is fruit reproducing through systems, not you sweating longer hours. Hustle adds. Multiplication compounds. Hustle is adrenaline. Multiplication is architecture. Are you hearing me? Running faster on a broken treadmill only makes you tired at the same place. Multiplication builds another treadmill, trains another runner, and sets a timer so the race continues while you sleep. Say, I multiply my fruit, not my fatigue. Let me give you a picture from scripture. So this is not theory. Moses was drowning in good work, every case on his desk, every dispute at his ears, until Jethro said, the thing you do is not good. You will wear yourselves out. Exodus 18:17, 1:8. Then he installed rulers of 10s, 50s, 100s, and thousands. That is structure. That is certification. That is tiers of responsibility. He multiplied justice without multiplying Moses. Paul echoed it. The things you have heard from me, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2:2. 4 generations in 1 sentence. Write it down. If it cannot be taught, it cannot be multiplied. Practically, how do you multiply? You productize what you do name it, scope it, price it, and standardize it so it can be repeated by trained hands. Build a process, the 12 steps you follow every time to produce the same result. That is your SOP, standard operating procedure. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain so that he may run who reads it. If they can't run from what you wrote, you have poetry, not process. Capture templates, emails, proposals, checklists, scripts, automate touch points, scheduling links, onboarding sequences, payment collection, reminder text. If you repeat it, record it. If you record it, template it. If you template it, delegate it. If you delegate it, scale it. Write that down. Multiplication also means creating models that don't depend on your constant presence. Turn custom into catalog. Offer a defined package instead of reinventing deliverables for each client. Offer group delivery where appropriate, one-to-many cohorts, workshops, memberships. Certify others in your method. Train, test, and license practitioners under your brand with quality control. Convert your know-how into digital assets, courses, playbooks, toolkits, so your fruit travels without your body. Form partnerships, affiliates, resellers, white label agreements, so other people's distribution carries your standardized fruit. That's multiplication through others' muscles. Hear me as a father. If you don't deploy your gift into a system, you will be employed by someone else's system. Say it. If I don't deploy, I'll be employed. Systems are employers. Money hires systems because systems keep promises. You must build a machine that hires your future self. The cookie lady did not multiply by baking all night. She documented the recipe, pre-measured the spice blend, set oven profiles, trained 3 teenagers with a checklist, and the cookies tasted like her even when she wasn't there. The vocal coach did not multiply by adding hours. She built a curriculum, a progress rubric, a coach handbook, a recording library, and certified 10 coaches who deliver her result in 5 cities. The handyman moved from emergencies to a monthly maintenance subscription with route planning, parts kits, and a ticketing app. Write this down. Make your excellence teachable. Guard the fruit as you multiply. Scaling garbage is not kingdom. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks. Proverbs 27-23. Install quality gates. Audit randomly. Measure on-time delivery. Refund rate. Customer satisfaction. Multiplication without measurement is mutation. Your name must equal the same result everywhere, every time. Now, multiplication creates volume, but dominion requires more than volume. You must place that multiplied fruit into many hands, predictably, visibly, continually. That is the next law. Replenish. We will build roots, channels, and presence. For now, say it over your life. I multiply the fruit, not the burnout. Law 3, replenish. Hear the word as placement. Be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. Genesis 1:28. Replenish means fill the territory with your fruit. Territory is not only geography, it is markets, platforms, neighborhoods, industries, online spaces, and communities of practice. Write this down. Production without placement is a private victory with a public famine. Many of you keep asking where the transfer is. It is circling, looking for an address, and your address is distribution. Hidden fruit does not attract increase. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. If your product is still in your kitchen, your curriculum is still in your notebook, your solution is still on your hard drive, heaven has nothing to advertise. Replenishment is when your fruit shows up enough in enough places with enough consistency that demand and trust are born in strangers. Trust is a function of visibility and reliability over time. Say it. Distribution is discipleship for products, consistent exposure that turns curiosity into conviction. Ecclesiastes 11:1 says, cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. That is distribution. Get the bread out of the pantry and into the current. Now let me correct a religious allergy. Give it away free. I did not say give away ownership. I said give away taste. Psalm 34:8 says, taste and see that the Lord is good. God uses sampling. Strategic generosity seeds demand. Samples in the right hands. Value first content that solves a slice of the problem. Pilot programs with testimonials. A free assessment that diagnoses accurately. These are distribution levers, not charity projects. Write this down. Free is a seed, not a business model. You plant samples to reap subscribers. You plant content to reap clients. You plant pilots to reap purchase orders. Practical channels choose, don't chase. Referrals. Build a simple script. Reward advocates and ask every satisfied client for 2 names within 24 hours. Affiliates. Equip partners with links, assets, and a clear commission. Let other people's credibility carry your fruit. Platforms. Select one primary stage where your buyers live. Email list, YouTube, LinkedIn, local radio, Etsy, App Store. Master its rhythm and rules. Partnerships. Co-create offers with complementary brands, churches, schools, clinics, places people already trust. Local institutions. Place your fruit in barbershops, cafes, community centers, and PTA meetings. One cookie lady replenished a neighborhood by dropping warm samples at barbershops every Saturday with a QR code. Barbers became her evangelists. The tech fixer partnered with 3 apartment complexes, offered a free device check day, and left with a mailing list and maintenance contracts. Write this down. Pick one primary channel, set a weekly cadence, and keep your promise for 90 days. Consistency converts. And measure it. Replenish is not random, it is routed. Build a list. Email is land you own. Track reach, response, referrals, repeat purchases. If you cannot name the top 5 places your fruit appears this week, you are not replenishing, you are hiding. Mark 16:15 says, go into all the world and preach the gospel. The principle stands, go. Stop waiting for the world to stumble into your garden. Carry baskets to their gates. Now, as you replenish, expect a reaction. The moment your fruit lands in many hands, competitors wake up. Copycats appear. Noise rises. That's not the time to panic. That's the signal for the next law, subdue. Replenishment makes you visible. Subduing makes you the standard. In the next movement, we will set the rules of the category, so when the market thinks of your promise, it thinks of your name. Now we move from visibility to authority. Replenish made you seen, subdue makes you the standard. Hear the king's language. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it. Genesis 1:28. Subdue is not aggression, it is administration. It means bring your category under order. Set rules where there was randomness. Establish protocols where there was improvisation. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Write this down. Subduing is mastery codified as standards. Say it. I set the standard. Again, I set the standard. You were born to master something. Not everything, something. Dominion begins with a domain, and domain requires devotion. Proverbs 22:29 asks, do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Diligence is not merely working hard. It is refining a craft until it qualifies as a reference. When the market wants to check if others are good, they compare them to you. That's subduing. Tiger wakes at 4 a.m., not to be famous, but to be standard. Oprah did not dominate every lane. She made one lane the place kings visited. What is your lane? Tell your neighbor no. Tell your future, pick your lane and become undeniable. Standards are the rails your excellence runs on. They include your brand promise, the one sentence the market can trust you to keep every time. They include consistency, same flavor, same feel, same result everywhere. They include intellectual property, name it, protect it, and systemize how it's used so imitators become advertisers for your originality. They include certification, who is allowed to deliver under your name and what they must demonstrate to qualify. Write this down. Promise, process, protection, people, those 4 P's subdue a category. Practically, how do you subdue? Create a proprietary method. Give your way of working a name and a map. Turn your experience into a measurable framework people can apply without guessing. Offer a unique guarantee that others fear to make because they don't control their process. 2 4-hour restore. Or we pay you a month, fresh by 5 p.m. Or it's free, 3 sessions to stage ready. Design a signature deliverable, a playbook, a diagnostic, a kit, a canvas that only you produce with elements that are identifiable as yours. Trademark your method's name. Document your standards in a brand manual voice, visuals, workflows, quality gates, institute audits, mystery shoppers, peer reviews, random checks. Subduing is when your name forces quality up in your industry, because if they don't rise, they can't compete. Let me ground it. The cookie lady stopped being a nice baker when she wrote the Fresh 5 rule. Bake within 5 hours of delivery, 5 core flavors with fixed ratios, 5-day shelf life, 5-minute response to complaints, 5-point inspection before sealing. She stamped the seal with a gold F5 and trademarked it. Now, every new baker in a zip code is measured against Fresh 5. That is subduing. The tech fixer named his diagnostic 7 signals, printed a heat map report for every device, and guaranteed a loaner within 2 hours if he missed a 2 4-hour restore. He didn't yell, he standardized. That's subduing. Daniel distinguished himself because an excellent spirit was in him. Daniel 6-3. Excellence is a spirit. Standards are its skeleton. Say it. Subduing is excellence organized. When you subdue, influence arrives because people trust what you govern. Buyers prefer the safest hands. Partners align with the clearest process. Regulators call you to write the rules. And that, my friend, is the runway to the final law. Once you set the standards and the market gathers under your measurement, you don't just influence, you govern. Dominion is next. Not noise, not hype, but ethical governance of value at scale. We are now at the threshold. Subduing set the standards. Dominion sets the season. Hear the king's final imperative in the sequence. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion. Genesis 1:28. Dominion is governance. Write that down. Dominion is not noise. It is the authority to shape how value moves, to set the terms of engagement, to build an ecosystem where your promise keeps working even when you are not in the room. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation generated by passion, motivated by vision, birthed by conviction, produced by a sense of purpose. Dominion is when that leadership becomes infrastructure. Say it. I don't control people, I govern value. When you have dominion, you are not begging the market is benchmarking by you. Your guarantee becomes a policy others adopt. Your distribution becomes a highway others must drive. Your certifications become passports in your industry. That is governance. Joseph did not scream grain into Egypt. He architected storage, pricing, and distribution so effective that all countries came into Egypt to Joseph to buy grain. Genesis 41-57. That is dominion attracting transfer. Capital is not sentimental. It is safety seeking. Money moves toward order. Investors, partners, and talent will always migrate to the most reliable governor, the one with systems, standards, and wide distribution. To everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken. Matthew 25-29. That is not cruelty. That is kingdom law. Transfer follows proven stewardship. Now let me separate dominion from domination. Domination exploits, dominion serves. Domination extracts, dominion cultivates. Jesus said, whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant, even as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. Matthew 20:26-28. True dominion creates jobs, expands access, lowers friction, solves problems at scale, and treats people as image bearers, not units. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, Psalm 24:1. We are stewards, not owners. Luke 12:48 still stands. To whom much is given, much will be required. Write this down. Ethics is the engine oil of dominion. Without it, the machine seizes. Here is the dominion test. If resources doubled tomorrow, orders, clients, cash, visibility, would you govern it or would it ruin you? If $2 million landed today, do you have banking relationships, cash controls, insurance, compliant contracts, trained people, audit trails, and a board of counsel? If demand spiked by 300%, do your SOPs, vendors, and QA gates hold the line? If 5 cities ask for your service, can your certification and supply chain keep the same promise? Be honest. If more would expose mess, heaven is being merciful by waiting. Say it. I will not be destroyed by the answer to my prayer. I will be ready. Dominion is when you move from a product to a platform, from a sale to a system, from a client to a community you shepherd. It is when your values become policies, your excellence becomes law, and your presence becomes unnecessary for the promise to keep its word. And this is why the next move is critical. Dominion requires vision. Sight will talk you out of the future you're supposed to build. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. Sight sees bills. Vision sees a bank. Sight sees a kitchen. Vision sees a network. In our next step, I will upgrade your optics because transfer belongs to governors who can see beyond the present and architect the future on paper before it exists in brick. Say it. I am a governor in training. Resources prefer my hands. Vision now. Hear me. Dominion collapses without it. The greatest gift God gave man is not the gift of sight, but the gift of vision. Sight is a function of the eyes. Vision is a function of the heart. Sight reports what is. Vision reveals what can be. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. And I add the warning. The greatest enemy of your vision is your eyes. Eyes see bills. Vision sees a bank. Eyes see a kitchen. Vision sees a network. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. Entrepreneurs look crazy because they live ahead of their time. They are renting space in the future while others are arguing about the present. Write this down. Sight keeps you trapped in limitation. Vision positions you for transfer. Apply it to 2026. Stop chasing predictions like a gambler chasing a rumor. Noah built an ark before it rained. Hebrews 11:7. Joseph designed silos before the famine. Genesis 41. Vision builds capacity before a headline validates it. While others are reposting wealth transfer hashtags, you are installing SOPs, training successors, securing trademarks, testing vendors, documenting your method, and building cash controls. By the time the opportunity appears, you already look like it's safe as home. Say it. I prepare my future in the present. Here is your vision drill. Simple, sacred, and specific. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain. Take out your notebook and define your 2026 territory. Industry, which domain will you master? Audience, who exactly will you serve by age, problem, context, geography? What cities or digital platforms will you fill? Now define the fruit you will be known for. One sentence that names your whopper, your signature promise. By December 2026, in the pediatric nutrition space, I will be trusted for the Ready 5 meal kit, 5-minute doctor-reviewed dinners for working parents, distributed in 5 cities with a 2-4-hour refund guarantee. Delivered through 100 certified partners. Write that down. Map your distribution. What channels will carry you weekly? Name your standards, the non-negotiables that keep your flavor identical at scale. Schedule the first 90 days you can control now. Prototypes, pilots, partners, and proof. Now let me pastor you through the pain. Every true vision will be tested. Expect delay. Time refines you. Expect resistance. Opposition confirms you're moving. Expect limited resources, constraints, force, creativity. James 1-3 says the testing of your faith produces patience. 1 Peter 1-7 says your faith is tested by fire so it may be found to praise. Testing is not a sign you missed God, it's proof you found him. Say it, my vision can survive pressure. And to my skeptics, let me bridge you. Why does transfer language exist? Because seasons shift and stewardship gets reallocated. When holders of resources mismanage, the market looks for governors. Transfer becomes real the moment your competence, your fruit, your distribution, and your standards make you the safest place for resources to land. We will prove that next. For now, close this in your spirit. Sight will not cancel my transfer. Vision is positioning me for the future market. Write it, speak it, build it. 2026 will not surprise the prepared. To my believers and my skeptics, come closer, call it economics or call it kingdom law. The verdict is the same. Resources migrate to management. Write that down. Money is not emotional. Money is safety seeking. Capital, customers, and careers relocate to the person who proves they can protect, multiply, and deploy them with integrity. Jesus said it plainly. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who will give you that which is your own? Luke 16, 10:12. That is not superstition, that's allocation. Say it, transfer is reallocation to stewardship. Let me strip the smoke off this word transfer. Investors fund traction, not tongues. Banks fund cash flow, not charisma. Customers pay for results, not resumes. Employers promote competence, not compliments. Markets reward consistency, not moments. To everyone who has, more will be given, but from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken. Matthew 25-29. That is the parable of the talents in practice. The unproductive man didn't lose because the master was cruel. He lost because he refused to convert a seed into fruit. Transfer, move to the safest hands. Here is the fantasy I must kill as your pastor. A prophetic transfer without productivity creates dependency and disappointment. You don't need another viral declaration if your shelves are empty, your SOPs are missing, and your delivery is late. You are praying for traffic to a store with no inventory. Stop it. Write this down. Favor accelerates. It does not fabricate. Grace magnifies what you built. It won't replace what you ignored. Make this your confession. I don't need a miracle check. I need measurable fruit and a distribution path. Say it again. Measurable fruit means a result with proof. Before and afters, testimonials, timestamps, refund rate under control, on-time delivery. You can verify. A distribution path means your result shows up weekly where buyers live, email list you own, a partner who carries you, a platform you post to on schedule, a referral engine that runs. When competence, fruit, and distribution converge, you become the safest landing pad for resources. That is when investors call you. That is when customers prepay. That is when employers create a role to keep you. Proverbs 22:29 promised it. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He shall stand before kings. Skeptics, I love you. Keep your spreadsheet. It will preach my sermon. Spreadsheets reward, retention, reliability, repeat purchase, and reduce defects. Scripture says stewardship. Spreadsheets say KPIs. Same law, different language. Believers, I love you. Keep your faith. Faith builds what the spreadsheet will later celebrate. Joseph did both. He dreamed and he built silos. Genesis 41. Dream and build. Pray and proof. Vision and variables. Now, here's how you qualify for increase in the next 30 days. Simple and strict. Week 1, define one fruit you can deliver repeatedly and document the process in 12 steps. Run 2 paid reps and 1 discounted for speed and proof. Week 2, install a guarantee you can honor, collect 5 testimonials with measurable outcomes, and publish a 1-page proof deck. Week 3, choose 1 primary channel and 1 partner. Set a weekly cadence and deliver 3 consistent pieces of value or samples. Ask every buyer for 2 referrals within 24 hours. Week 4, tighten your quality gates, measure on-time rate, defect rate, response time, and adjust your SOPs. Open a simple dashboard you review every Friday. Say it, I qualify by competence. Because transfer in 2026 or any year will always move to the governor whose hands look like safety. Here is your 30-day covenant. Write this down. In 1 month, you will move from seed talk to fruit evidence with a visible distribution path. Week 1, fruit. Choose 1 problem. Craft 1 clear offer. Define 1 measurable outcome. And secure 1 case study or pilot. 1 problem means 1 pain your audience feels now. Late deliveries, messy books, stage fright, slow tech, bland cookies. 1 offer means 1 page with price, scope, timeline, and guarantee. 1 measurable outcome means a sentence you can prove. In 7 days, we will reduce average response time from 24 hours to 6. In 14 days, your pantry will hold 20 prep meals. In 10 business days, your device is restored or your month is free. Habakkuk 2:2, write it plain. Then go get 1 pilot, 1 paying client, or 1 discounted case in exchange for full access to measure before and after. Take photos, track timestamps, capture testimonials. Luke 16:10, faithful in little qualifies you for much. Say it, I will produce 1 undeniable result. Week 2, multiply. Document the process you just executed. Turn what you did into 12 steps someone else can follow without guessing. Create templates, emails, checklists, scripts, proposals, inspection forms. Productize, name the package, set inclusions, exclusions, and a fixed price or tier. Establish minimum standards. Response within 4 business hours. On-time rate above 95%. Defect rate under 2%. Refund decisions within 48 hours. Reduce delivery time by at least 20% through batching, pre-kitting, automation, or scheduling. Proverbs 27-23, know the state of your flocks. Install quality gates. If you repeat it, record it. If you record it, template it. If you template it, delegate it. Write that down. Week 3, replenish. Choose 1 primary channel where your buyers live and dominate it for 90 days. Publish value daily, a tip, a sample, a mini case with proof. Do direct outreach, 5 messages or calls per day to qualified prospects with a precise ask. Form 2 partnerships, affiliates, resellers, community hubs. Equip them with links and assets. Build your list, collect emails at every touch. Offer a simple lead magnet that solves a sliver of the problem. Send 1 helpful note each week. Distribute daily. Post, list, partner, ask, repeat. Ecclesiastes 11:1. Cast your bread upon the waters. Say it. Distribution is my address. Week 4, subdue toward dominion. Add a unique mechanism, your Whopper name, your method, and stamp it everywhere. Tighten your promise with a brave guarantee only your process can keep. Raise consistency, same flavor, same feel, same result. Publish your brand manual and certify who may deliver under your name. Track metrics, on-time delivery, defect rate, response time, refund rate, repeat purchase, referrals. Open a simple dashboard you review every Friday. Protect the method, trademark the name, document standards, audit randomly. Daniel 6:3, an excellent spirit distinguished him. Proverbs 22:29, diligence seats you before kings. Now close your fist and say it, write that down, produce something, distribute it, master it, govern it, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. In 30 days, I moved from seed talk to fruit evidence and a living distribution path. Amen. Stand on your feet in your heart and receive this. Identity precedes increase. Say it. I was born to solve a problem. Again, I was born to solve a problem. Say it. I am necessary. Say it. I will produce fruit. I will multiply. I will distribute. I will subdue. I will have dominion. Write that down. This is not hype. This is your design. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. Genesis 1:28. That's not a suggestion. That's your operating system. Your identity carries responsibility. Purpose is the seed of confidence, and confidence births leadership. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, birthed by a conviction, produced by a sense of purpose. Turn it upside down and start from purpose. Purpose creates conviction. Conviction fuels vision. Vision ignites passion. Passion inspires. Inspiration influences. Influence becomes leadership. And leadership, properly stewarded, becomes governance. Say it, I don't chase transfer. I become the place transfer prefers. Every problem is a business. The world doesn't eat seeds, produce something. If you don't deploy yourself, you'll be employed by someone who did. To those born in tight places, I see you and I bless you. It's okay to be born in poverty. It is not okay to stay there. He raises the poor out of the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. Psalm 113:7. It is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant. Deuteronomy 8:18. Dominion is your design. Joseph started in a pit, managed in a prison, and governed a nation because he proved stewardship. Genesis 41. Daniel distinguished himself because an excellent spirit was in him. Daniel 6:3. Say it, excellence lives in me, and I will organize it into standards. Here is my final warning and my blessing. Do not wait for 2026 headlines to validate what heaven already commanded. Noah built before rain. Hebrews 11:7. Joseph stored before famine. Favor accelerates. It does not fabricate. Grace multiplies what you place. It will not replace what you ignored. Build now, codify now, distribute now. Transfer follows value, and value follows law. Say it, I obey the laws so increase can trust me. Now, let me paint your tomorrow. The news shifts, opportunities surge, and while many refresh their feeds, your phone rings because your fruit is on shelves. Your guarantee is trusted. Your standards are published. Your partners are trained. Your dashboard is steady. Investors ask how much you can absorb, not if you're ready. A bank manager calls you by name because your cash controls are clean. A city invites your method into schools because your outcomes are documented. Kings request audience, Proverbs 22:29, fulfilled because your diligence is visible. You are not begging for transfer. You are receiving investment, stewardship, and territory because you govern value with ethics. Say it, resources come looking for me. I commission you now as producers and governors. May the Lord establish the work of your hands. Psalm 90:17. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Deploy your gift, design your system, distribute your fruit, set your standards, and govern with integrity. You are necessary. Go and let resources find the safest hands yours. Amen.